Welcome to the Northeast Kingdom Voice. I'm your host, Scott Wheeler. Today's guest is Julie Raboin of the Newport Renaissance Corporation.
Morning.
Welcome to the show, Julie.
Thank you, Scott. It's good to be here.
So what is your title at the Renaissance Corporation?
I'm called the Programs Coordinator. It's a new position within Newport City Renaissance Corporation, or NCRC for short.
So you're not the executive director?
Correct.
Is there an executive director anymore?
There is not currently an executive director. The board is waiting for some plans to develop within the city and some partners before they go out and search for an executive director, because given the planning that's going on, they want to make sure that they recruit an executive director with the right skill set for the job.
Right. Now, I've been reading in the paper that, the council wanted to know what you've been doing, and I know you've been doing stuff, and I just wanted to give you this opportunity to tell the world a little bit about who Julie Raboin is and what you are doing.
Sure, thank you. Well, I am a native Northeast Kingdomer. My parents were dairy farmers when I was growing up in Westfield and Newport Center and Derby. I left the area after high school. I graduated from North Country. And I left for about a decade, and then I came back here to raise my family. So with the Renaissance, I started at the end of July, and I'm part-time, and it has taken a while for me to figure out exactly what I need to do, and I've been working closely with the board of directors of NCRC, and one of the things that we really want to focus on is boosting the business climate within the Newport area, and especially downtown.
I've told you this before, I think you have a hard job because, over the years we've heard a lot of talk, but we still haven't seen much action yet, even though I understand we're going to finally see a little bit of action with the Spates block.
Yes.
But is it a hard job? Is it a hard sell when you go to talk to businesses?
So far, I would not say that it's been a hard job. It's been a really enjoyable job. There's been a lot to learn, and I've been hesitant to be very public in my position before I really know what I'm doing with the mission and what my marching orders are from the board. It is a little tricky communications-wise with what you referred to as the Spates block is now called the Renaissance block,
right,
which is a bit of a misnomer and confusing because the Newport City Renaissance Corporation doesn't have a lot to do with the Renaissance block.
Right.
So yes, there are plans and some work being done to mitigate the lead and the asbestos within the Renaissance block, and the plans are for it to come down this winter. How long it takes to rebuild from that point is anybody's guess. Big construction projects often have delays and things that set them behind, and hopefully that's not going to happen, but I don't think anybody's willing to promise that it won't.
So what is the role of the Renaissance?
Well, there's actually three distinct things. We are to boost up the business climate within the downtown district. We're a designated downtown, and that's a national accreditation, and it is to revive the downtown communities throughout the country. So Newport was designated a downtown community, I believe in 2007 when the incorporation was nailed down. So part of boosting that economic climate is promotions, making sure that there's a citywide communication strategy that lends to the mission of boosting the economic climate here. Economic restructuring, making sure that there's adequate planning going into ensuring that businesses that come in are successful. Also recruiting businesses.
I can tell you, I just barely ate at one of your Main Street businesses, and I'm not a connoisseur of Thai food, but I have got to say it was the best Thai food I have ever had. I don't know what you're hearing, but I thought it was outstanding.
Yes, Dusat Thai is really, has been really well received, has gotten rave reviews, and we're really, really happy that Doucet Thai has come to Newport, and it looks like they're going to be very successful. They are unfortunately closed for the next week or so due to a death in the family,
Right.
and a couple of the owners had to fly back to Thailand. But when they open, I'm not sure exactly what the date is, but it's early December. We expect them to be booming.
Yeah, they've only been open a couple of weeks, and I've already been there twice.
Yes.
So,
A lot of people are saying that.
so I'm the eternal optimist. I was born and raised in Newport. I live in Derby, but I still have the pull towards Newport because I live kind of, between the two community centers. But I've been the eternal optimist. But I've got to admit, lately I've been getting a little pessimistic. Are you starting to hear more of that? That people are really getting antsy to see things?
I do hear that people are antsy to see things, absolutely. There's, I think, an anticipation that's been going on for some time. There's all the development that's happened at Jay Peak and Burke Mountain, or Q Burke, excuse me. And we haven't seen a whole lot of that follow in the downtown area, which I think does frustrate people. But there are things happening. Like you referred to, Doucet Thai has just opened. I believe Brenda's Kitchen is changing hands. Pick and Shovel is doing really well, Wider Than the Sky. There's still a lot of stores downtown, Needleman's, Newport Jewelers, and the Newport City Renaissance Corporation, along with Vermont's North Country Chamber of Commerce, is actually doing a really neat promotion this coming week between Black Friday and the Santa Festival downtown in Newport, which is on December 6th. And we're calling that Shop Small, Shop Local. And actually I have one of the promotional items that customers can pick up while supplies last in downtown stores. And American Express actually has been sponsoring the Shop Small campaign. This is year 4, and it's a nationwide effort to boost small business shopping rather than doing the usual Black Friday, standing in line at a big box store, and rather than spending time with your family over the holidays, being more focused on supporting your community, shopping at your local stores, helping out your local businesses, which helps everybody. The stronger our economic climate is in where we live, the better off everybody is.
I actually, from being a business person myself, and needless to say, not a Main Street business person, but I operate from home, I hear a lot of business people are actually starting to feel kind of good. Like I had some work done on my house. The contractor was telling me that he hasn't seen business like this in 12 years. And with me, I certainly, in my 13 years, I've never seen business like this. So there really is some positives going on. And sometimes those of us who grew up here, like you and I, sometimes I think we sometimes forget to see, open our eyes. And I think that's true of people who've lived here too long, too, who move here. But, I show people, when some people tell me that, oh, Newport Main Street is ugly. No, it might not have enough stores, but it's not ugly.
Right.
I don't know if you recall all those dilapidated boat houses. I have photos of that. I have, the Newport of our youth. We may have had more stores, but we also had that hideous tin all over the buildings.
We did.
And so I look at Main Street and say, no, there's not enough stores, but we have a lot to work with. When I visit my 2 sons who live in northern Maine, I go through communities, old logging communities, and I'm looking at them dilapidated. And I'm thinking, if I were in your shoes, what would I do? I wouldn't even know where to begin. If you drive down in Newport, you automatically know where to begin. You have the lake, you have the beauty. So you are not starting from square one.
Right.
You have so much to offer right there.
Yes, you're absolutely right. And I think it is difficult to see the full picture when you have spent a lot of time. And sometimes I hear new folks that have moved into the area talk about the beauty, and it opens my eyes to the
Oh, sure it
things that
does.
I've not noticed for some time.
Have you ever gone over Newport in an airplane?
I have not.
You've got to do it. And have you ever been in a small airplane?
Yes.
Uh, Go up to Newport Airport, Newport City Airport, and ask for a ride, because you will get a totally new appreciation for the community that you're trying to promote. It's absolutely beautiful. On the ground, we don't think of Newport as being this big peninsular, but we are.
Yeah, I bet that provides a very different
Oh,
perspective.
it really does. It's really something they ought to put in your job description. Take an airplane flight.
I'll suggest that to my board of directors.
But so we've mentioned some of the negative. There's no sugarcoating. There's a lot of empty storefronts.
Sure.
What is being done to try to fill some of those?
Well, I think one of the misconceptions about Newport City Renaissance is that we are responsible for going out and getting businesses to come here.
Right.
And that's not necessarily what we are to do. We are to support any efforts and collaborate with all of the area agencies such as NVDA and the Chamber of Commerce, and do everything that we can to boost the businesses in Newport and the downtown area.
So is there any group that actually goes out and tries to recruit businesses, like the Newport Chamber, I guess, the North Country Chamber?
Vermont's North Country
Right.
Chamber of Commerce.
Do they recruit businesses, or do they kind of do like you do?
That's a good question, and I'm not really confident of the answer. Only having been in my
Right.
job for 4 months.
That's a good answer. I happen to think Newport, and I've said this many times, I think Newport is fortunate to have a very proactive mayor, Paul Manette. I think he's very proactive, and I would imagine you have some kind of dialogue.
Yes,
with him.
absolutely. Yes, Paul is very supportive. He's also the chairman of the board of the Chamber of Commerce. So
Oh, that's true too. He is.
so that puts him in a different role and has a different perspective from that lens. And it's challenging, as you know, in a small community. Often we do wear many hats, and sometimes we have to take off one hat and put on another, and look at things from all directions.
Right.
And I think that's a challenge for anybody, but especially in a role like Paul has.
Now, do you have any, like, I know Phil White and there's other groups that have they have events. Do you have any role in those?
Yes, actually, I've been working very closely with Phil White, Kingdom Games, and Newport Recreation, and also Ken Wells from the Newport Daily Express, and Bruce James from Moo 92 and WJJZ and WIKE. And they are the ones who are really promoting and organizing the Newport Santa Festival on December 6th. Without their efforts, it would be a much smaller event. I've been listening to Moo 92. I often do in the morning as I'm getting ready for work, and the ads are very frequent, promoting the Shop Small Shop Local campaign and the Santa Run that Phil is having, and the Santa Parade and Santa's Workshop. So they are just incredible how they band together, and it's not for profit. It's just to boost this community and get people in the community spirit, especially around the holidays.
Now, when we were growing up, I know I'm a few years older than you, but did you grow up shopping on Main Street with all the Christmas music coming out of Sayre sequin music?
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
I enjoyed that very much when I was a kid, especially when I lived out in the country.
Right.
And coming to town was a big deal.
Yeah, you were coming to the city.
Yes.
I know that the same thing with my wife. She grew up in Brownington, and if her father could handle the traffic, he might come to Newport, but that was very, very infrequent.
Nice.
I didn't know what it was. I didn't realize how, I guess, lucky I was, or unlucky, I don't know, growing up in the city of Newport. But then when I talked to people like you who grew up in the outskirts, it was like a big deal.
Yes, we generally only came to town if the milk check came that day. And then it was the grocery store and
Right.
Newberry's and Needleman's.
So what else do you have for big plans, or your group?
One of the signature events that Renaissance has been doing for a few years is called the Taste of Newport, which is a summer food tasting event, which is part of our Fresh by Nature campaign, which encourages people to shop local for their food and access local food. And that's a neat promotion to get people to taste the wares from the local area restaurants. And it's also a Renaissance fundraiser. That so far, I could be wrong on this, but I believe that's the only signature event that Renaissance has done. But one new thing that we're starting just after Thanksgiving is called Downtown Dollars. And this is a collaboration with Community National Bank and North Country Hospital. And one of our Renaissance subcommittees called Positive by Nature came up with this plan to expand upon a program that the hospital has been offering to their employees for the past few years, which is a local gift certificate program rather than a cash bonus for employees. But Downtown Dollars is now expanding, and all of the downtown businesses, retail operations, are participating, and anybody, including employers, can go to the Downtown Community National Bank branch and purchase Downtown Dollar gift certificates and give them as holiday gifts. And employers can also buy them in large quantities for their employees to give as holiday bonuses.
What do you consider, or does your organization consider, the downtown? Is it the, as I would say, the peninsular, which would be Main Street and Coventry Street, or does it also include the plaza?
It does include the waterfront plaza. Currently, the downtown designation runs from the very top of Main Street, like where Adrian's and Maple Fields is, goes all the way down Main Street, across to the plaza, to the East Side Restaurant.
Okay.
And then it's tentatively planned to expand that designated downtown area a little wider to include more of the business zones.
Right. So the Renaissance is made up of various committees. How many are there?
Well, there are 3 standing committees, and then there are some subcommittees. The Economic Restructuring Committee is one of the most active committees that we have right now, and that is chaired by Joe Kasperzak of NVDA and includes many area business people and city officials and some real movers and shakers, such as Claudio Fort from North Country Hospital, Graham Ray, who has some very interesting perspectives on marketing. And they're doing an awful lot of different things, including formatting a web page to give potential businesses the statistics and information that they need in order to decide that, yes, Newport is the right place to locate my business. So that's the ERC, Economic Restructuring. And then the Design Committee, which is chaired by Jen Black-Lathede, who's a very active Newport resident, and she's on the Planning Commission in Newport City. The Design Committee meets monthly as well, and they talk about city design, sidewalks, bike accessibility, pedestrian-friendly streets. They're working very hard right now on a walk to school campaign with Newport City Elementary, and they've now hosted 2 walk to school days in the morning from all points around town.
Boy, I was ahead of my time.
You walked to school?
I had to walk to school.
Lucky you. I had to take an hour-long bus.
Oh, I wouldn't have wanted that.
So the Design Committee does all kinds of different things. They work on grants, and they really inform the rest of the organization about what perspective we need to take about what should happen design-wise. And then the third committee, which currently is searching for a chair, is the promotions committee. And that's where all the social media messaging originates from, creating a coordinated messaging campaign to help the economic climate downtown.
We were talking before the show, while a lot of people wring their hands on what to do, there's outsiders who are looking at us, the Northeast Kingdom. There's so much attention on the Northeast Kingdom.
Absolutely.
And I think this is the time to do something because I think in the last 2 weeks, because as you know, I'm a media guru out there. The Northland Journal, we have a huge following. And because of that, I've been contacted just in the last 2 weeks, 3 different film crews that want to spotlight the region in different ways. Now, I'm not saying I always approve of the spotlight because there's one for a reality TV show which I'm kind of ambivalent about.
Sure.
But just in the last year, it was featured in Yankee Magazine. The area it's been. I know I was on a show out of Boston, and so there's so much of a spotlight on this region, and I think sometimes we forget that when we live here, we just forget about the beauty and what a unique place it is.
I think you're absolutely right, Scott. There are, like when I travel to meetings, whether or anywhere within the state, say Brattleboro, Bennington, Burlington, whether for personal reasons or for business, I find so many people asking me, wow, what all is going on in Newport? It's amazing what you guys are doing up there. And I don't think that we here in the kingdom necessarily are privy to those kind of questions.
Yeah, and the other thing is, I think the image has this, as the region has improved, because you used to have a lot of jokes about being from the Northeast Kingdom. You used to hear a lot of them, but I really think that there's so much positive going on, and every once in a while, because if you do social media like I do and like you do,
I do.
There's so much, no matter how much positives happen, there's always the same people that want to rip every idea down. And because I don't deny that I have been a believer in Bill Stinger. Do I think everything is going to happen? No. Do I think his heart's in the right place? Absolutely.
I agree.
And I think the danger of trying to do something positive is there's always almost the same people that want to tear you down. They were the same people who 13 years ago when I started the Northland Journal, oh no, that's not going to work. 13 years later, I now go to 50 states all over the world by electronics. And if I can make it here, anybody can make it here. And I'm still a firm believer. I will say the last few months I've kind of, it's been tough seeing, like when the Wood Knot Bookshop went out, it was like, they did such a great job at transforming that into a community spot.
Yes.
And then to lose them.
Yes.
I don't think I've totally recovered.
Yes, everybody was sorry to see the Wood Knot leave town, and it is unfortunate, and it's just really tough, I think, to find that niche like you have and find the market that you can market to and therefore make a living.
Well, making a living sometimes is really, that's subjective. But do you have any secrets that you can, like, everybody thinks I know what's going on. Well, I don't. But everybody asks me, what's going on where the Wood Knot used to be? And I can't answer. Even the mayor hasn't told me or can't tell me or doesn't know what's going on there. There's some work going on.
I wish I had secrets that I could share with you, but unfortunately, I'm not in the know either about that. There has been a lot of construction going on there, and it looks like there's something coming together, but whether it's a business that's planning to open or a landlord readying the space for a business to come in, that's anybody's guess.
But I think that's positive, is
Yes.
at least people are wondering. They haven't totally given up. And, I think I bet you'll agree with this, is Newport is not going to ever be the Newport of our youth. But that doesn't mean it can't be as good. It's going to be different, because the history of Newport, I will say, every once in a while when I see what has been written or said about the history of Newport, I just roll my eyes and think, really? Is that the Newport that I know? Because, there's a lot of exaggeration, but Newport has, like any community, it's gone like this. It's been, when the... I think it was like 1912 or something, have a newspaper clipping, and they were wringing their hands. Newport was dying because of these automobiles. It was changing life, and Newport was dying. And so, and then the 1950s, there was a move to revitalize, and I know I've written about this, but they thought, okay, we're going to take the dump, which was located at where Gardner Park is. It was the burning dump. They were going to haul all the debris, dump it in Prouty's Bay, fill it in full of garbage, and then put soil over it, and they were going to build a park and a parking area over there. So this isn't the first time we've had to think outside the box to move forward, and it won't be the last.
I think you're spot on, Scott. And one of my favorite quotes is, "Those who don't know history are destined to repeat it."
Right.
I think it's really important to know where we came from, how we've evolved, and that this isn't the first time that there have been hard economic times. And there's been many changes over my lifetime, even, that have really changed the face of downtowns, not just here, but throughout the country and the world.
Absolutely. And it wasn't because of the town fathers and mothers that business left. It was the time. It was the
interstate.
Yeah, the interstate coming in, and then because Route 5 used to go right down. Well, it still does go down through Main Street, but the thing is, it used to be the main route. But then you have the way people started shopping was in the malls, and so then the stores moved there. I hate to say it, part of it was our own fault.
Yes.
Is, like we can point fingers, but hey, we wanted change, and we always talk of change as being a good thing, but sometimes change brings bad things as well.
Sure.
And so now we have to, kind of reinvent Main Street. We have to, but as I said, I told you this before the show, I think globally Newport is actually doing very good. I think East Main Street is doing great. I think it's a far nicer place than I even grew up with. I think, Main Street's a little challenged right now. But I think Newport's I hear about people hanging out on Main Street. Oh, give me a break. When I was growing up, there were more of us bums hanging out on Main Street than anywhere near the numbers today. I think most of us were decent people, but I still believe that most of today's people, they are decent people. They're just leading a different life than I lead.
I think you're right, and we need to always keep in mind that those people are part of our community too, and they have every much right to be there. And I was once one of the
I and some of my other friends who are now business people were once those people.
Sure.
Is when we grew up in Newport, we did a lot of hanging out.
Sure.
But I have never gotten a speeding ticket either, so I guess
never?
No.
Wow.
No, so I don't want to. But
hopefully you don't jinx yourself with that.
No, I've. You know the secret of not getting a speeding ticket? I don't speed most of the time.
That should do it.
So, okay, what more would you like to tell the viewers as we wrap up?
Sure. Well, I definitely want to encourage viewers to shop local and shop small, especially during the week between Thanksgiving and December 6th. And many thanks to Union Bank for sponsoring our Shop Local, Shop Small campaign. And also to definitely come out and check out the Santa Parade, register for the Santa Run. Everybody gets a free Santa suit if they register online soon. And just remember to support your community, because the more that we support our local businesses, the more successful our community is going to be. And the more successful everybody is, the lower taxes will be.
Tell me again, when is the Santa Run?
The Santa Run is during the Santa Festival on December 6th. and you can
my,
register.
my gears are going. I wonder. I I used to be a runner in my day,
Uh-huh.
and I'm thinking. I was thinking a few days ago, maybe I'd do that. Except you might see a ambulance person giving Santa mouth to mouth.
Well, you can always slow down. It may be a race, but you don't have
You know,
to
in my
win.
mind, I'm still 25. You know.
Sure.
But my birth certificate says I'm going to be 50 on February 8th, so I don't want to overdo it, but I might be able to get my producer, Todd Pronto, to run along with me, so.
Well, that would be great. I think you both should do it and get your Santa suits soon. Kingdom Games is raising money and also doing a food drive that day. And it's really going to be an exciting day for Newport. And Pick and Shovel is having their annual 20% off day on December 6th as well. So it's definitely worth coming downtown.
Okay, well, thank you for coming on the show and and showing your face and introducing yourself. Well, good luck, because as I've said, is you have a hard job, and you know what? I think you're going to have some days where you say, "What did I get myself into?" But there'll be other days if you stay around long enough. I do believe that you are eventually going to see change.
I agree. I agree, and it's just a matter of evolving properly to accommodate the change.
Right. Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Scott.
And thank you to the viewers for tuning in to another segment of the Northeast Kingdom Voice.